All right, so I wish we had a few more hours so we could really get into the heart of this discussion, but like all good things, this too must come to an end. So, my question is, how does it end?
Well, a lot of different religions have their own version, have an apocalyptic event, but in an attempt to save time, why don't we focus on the world's largest religion? So going back to my first argument that God exists outside of time and space, the Bible mentions that the end is near, and so we're sitting here trying to figure that out. So it's been a few thousand years. How soon is near? But the scary part is, while we're counting down in years, God might be counting down in seconds. You see, we're sitting here and we're waiting for the end to come in a nice, neat little package, but in reality, it might have started a while ago.
Well, that's a frightening prospect. I mean, wouldn't you agree, Diana? And how would we know if things are already underway?
So, okay, so as we flip through the book of Revelation, we come across four terrifying figures known as the horsemen of the apocalypse, whose duty is to unleash one calamity after another on mankind until God finally shows up in person. Honestly, it felt reminiscent of the plagues Moses was sent to deliver in order for the Egyptians to change their ways, until I began digging a little deeper. Now this feels much more complex because not only do these events happen on a global scale, but they actually appear to occur as a direct result of our own actions. Something that becomes harder to ignore as we watch our world slowly burning all around us while most people twiddle their thumbs.
So what you're saying is that these horsemen appear in order, and like dominoes, they fall one right after the other, and we're the ones who set the first one crashing down.
Exactly. Starting from the top, we have the first horseman whose job is to conquer, which can be interpreted a number of different ways. I, for one, see this as a reference to European imperialism, which began around the time of Christopher Columbus, a period in our history where the greatest military powers in that region took over one country after another until nearly every landmass on Earth was subjugated. That is a terrifying prospect if you're a relatively benign civilization minding your own business halfway across the world.
But we can attribute some of our greatest accomplishments to the fact that the world has been conquered. I mean, as you say, even if nowadays all we seem to do is fight.
Well, I think the word fight is a little bit of an understatement. As we look at the next horseman, the word war implies a much bigger conflict. See, as we look at the European imperialism spread throughout the world, we can see a massive power shift as the rift between the lower and upper economic classes begin to grow and in turn lead into war. I'm talking the French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, civil wars after another, world wars, you name it.
You're definitely going to lose a couple people with that one. I mean, myself included, because how do we jump from war to scales being carried by horseman number three? It seems like we have a bow for conquering and a sword for war.
Well, the third horseman is a bit of an enigma. You have some people that theorize that it could be pestilence. You have other people say that it refers to famine, while others think it refers to some kind of economic ruin. And whenever a new disease pops up, humans kind of throw their hands in the air and cry hysteria, and after a while, it's just become a running gag. I mean, you have SARS, the bird flu, the swine flu, etc. But none of these diseases has ever panned out to anything, nothing really devastating or world-ending.
So, what do these events spell for the last horseman?
Truth be told, I have no idea what's in store for us considering this last apocalyptic figure. All I can say with certainty is that if it does exist, it won't be pretty.
Well, Thank you, Dr. Harwood and Diane. This has been a great show and by far my favorite discussion to date. I hope that you'll come back so that we can discuss this topic in more detail.
I loved it. I was glad to be here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And thank you all to those of you who tuned in from home. I hope you come back and watch another episode. But until then, see you next time. We good? Great.
I was really nervous there.
Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So do you mind if I ask why you left the church?
It's not really my proudest moment.
Too personal?
It's okay. To make a long story short, I got a nun pregnant.
Good for you.
Thanks. That sort of thing is frowned upon, so we left and we got married.
Well, are you two still together?
They passed away during childbirth.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It's okay. That kind of thing would have shaken anybody's faith, but God got me through it, and I trust that He's going to work it out.
Well, I don't believe in God or a higher power, but I hope that you see each other again someday.
Yeah, me too.